Rev up your engines!
Well, Ford dealers are running away from electric vehicles. Almost half of the Ford dealers in the United States have turned down an offer in 2024 to sell electric vehicles. They're not going to sell them. What comes down to is, there's all kinds of figures out there, but the general consensus is that each dealership would have to fork out at least $500,000 for training, extra equipment, charging infrastructure, if they're going to sell and maintain Ford electric vehicles. Well, what you might not know is that almost all the dealerships, Ford and everyone else, are privately owned. Ford doesn't own them. Toyota doesn't own the Toyota dealerships. They're privately owned. And the people who own them are like, I don't want to fork out $500,000 for these cars that people don't seem to want to buy and have to train people and all that crap. No, I'm not interested in it. So over almost half of their dealers are saying, 2024, no, we don't want to join the selling electric car stuff. People don't want to buy them. Before they were saying, please don't send us anymore because we can't sell what we have. Now half of the Ford dealers are saying, no, we don't even want to touch them in 2024. So we got these political morons saying, we want everybody to buy electric cars. And then you have the people who sell them saying, we don't even want to sell them. Irony abounds. It abounds, that's for sure. Well, now it's coming out that Tesla knew they made defective parts, but they charge customers to repair them anyway. A lot of suspension parts broke, and they charge them for them anyway. Sometimes it's like $14,000 worth of repairs, right? They hide it all, of course, but then Elon gets people mad at him, right? He's always firing people. So some of the disgruntled employees have squealed, right? They're like, hey, they were talking about this, and they get email, and they show the email to people and say, look, they knew about these problems. They hid it, and then they, instead of fixing them for free, because they said, well, we built them wrong, they just charged the people, oh, those break, yeah, here's your bill. Well, they figured anybody who's dumb enough to buy a Tesla, right, is dumb enough to pay whatever bill they're handed. What do they know about machines, right? Nothing. So, well, you needed all this work done. Yeah, it's safe. Now here, give me $14,000, and they pay it and go away. That's why a lot of car dealers always wanted to sell luxury cars because they know that people have a lot of money. Generally, they know nothing about cars. And then when they break, they can charge them whatever they want because they have no idea what's broken and what they're changing, right? But in this case, Tesla knew these parts were bad, and then they charged people to fix them when they broke. Their warranty period is pretty much crap for most things anyway, right? So if it's out of the warranty period, if it was a bad part and it breaks, well, it's out of warranty now, too bad, right? But they knew the parts were bad in the first place. So it just shows you, the company is just, it's insane that people are even buying these things. But then again, as P.T. Barnum said, there's a sucker more in every minute, and they're buying these things. And then they're paying to repair them because they weren't built right in the first place, and they should at least be giving them some grace and saying, okay, yeah, we built these suspension parts wrong, we'll fix them free. No, then they charge them for it on top of it to add insult to injury. Sir Danny says, my injector on cylinder 2 doesn't work when the engine is cold. I got a Volvo S80. When it's cold, cylinder 2 doesn't work. It gets the code 2320, injector cylinder 2, signal missing. Hopefully you're not stuck between a rock and a hard place. The signal is missing on the number 2 injector, saying that it's not getting a signal. Now, one of two things could be wrong, and if I were you, the first thing I would do would be just buy an injector and put it on. Because if the injector itself is bad, it can short out the driver circuit and there won't be a signal. And that's the most common thing to go wrong, right? Start there. Now, if it's not that, then you'd have to trace the wiring between the injector and the computer. Check that. Maybe there's a break in the wiring. Make sure it's clicked on. Get a meter, measure it, see if it's shorted out. Pray it's that. Because if it's not that, it means your main computer's shot. Because the main computer has driver circuits that fire the fuel injectors. And if that driver circuit breaks down, you're going to have no signal. Now, the advantage is, you said, it only happens when it's cold, so it could easily be the wiring connector that snaps on. Take it off. If it's green, it's got corrosion, clean it with spray electrical cleaner. Put it back on. Make sure it snaps on tight. Because it just be that when it's cold, it doesn't get a good connector. Pray it's that. But now at least you know all the steps to go. Let's pray it's not the last one, a bad main computer with driver circuits, because they cost a fortune to buy and have reprogrammed for that Volvo. They're European money pits when they finally break down. Very few people know how to work on them. And when they do, I've seen people pay $250 an hour labor at a Volvo deal. James Pendergast says, what is the last reliable year of Chevy GMC Sierra? Okay, I would have to say early 2000s. anywhere between 2002 and like 2004. Those are probably the last really reliable. I've seen a few 2005s. They were still somewhat reliable, right? Because they didn't have all this fancy fuel injection, high-tech crap. They were a lot simpler back in the day. For example, my son is looking at GM's, and it's an '04, and it has an actual Allison transmission. Not an Allison branded, which doesn't mean anything is BS. GM built them, and they were just allowed to call them Allison branded. These back then in '04 were actually made by Allison, which made great transmissions. So if you could find one with a V8 and an actual Allison transmission, it could still be an excellent vehicle for driving around. They're going to be old, but hey, they can last a really long time with those Allison transmissions when they're real Allisons. The problem was GM owned Allison, and a while ago they let Allison buy itself back from GM, so it was its own company. But one of the deals of the buyout was GM could sell transmissions that GM made themselves and call them Allison branded. Those, not so hot. Cal says, is it safe to use a battery maintainer for a 2012 Lexus RX 350? The manual says if free charging with a battery in a vehicle, disconnect the ground cable. I can't because I have Intoxilock installed. Can I use a battery maintainer? What do you think? You should be able to. Modern battery maintainers are well made. Don't go buy a $19 one. Go buy a $110, $120 one. There's some excellent ones out there, right? And they maintain your battery so you don't have any problems. And they read the current flow, and then when they get enough, they stop, and then when a little bit comes out, they put a little bit more back in, and they work quite well. But there's only one thing, and the only way you're going to find out is by trying it. Sometimes they will activate your burglar alarm systems because burglar alarm systems will often measure current going in your car. It's a cheap way for a burglar alarm. So, when somebody opens your door or your trunk or whatever, generally the light will come on, and the light is using energy, and then the alarm sees there's lights being using electricity. Okay, it starts beeping. So try one out, and if it doesn't beep, it'd be perfectly safe. The only problem is sometimes it will set off your burglar alarms. Every time it starts charging, it might set off the burglar alarm, and that would be annoying as heck. So you might try that out first. Well, just down the street, I'm exit 1. This is exit 4 in Clarksville. LG Chemicals just broken ground on building a giant $3.2 billion battery parts manufacturing facility here in Clarksville, Tennessee. Now, they're going to be making, I believe, cathodes there. They make different parts in different places, right? And they're going to be making them here. A bunch of jobs that pay over $100,000 a year. Now, as if people are going to actually buy the electric cars. A lot of these electric battery places in the United States have gone out of business already. They shut factories down. They didn't build ones they said they're going to, but they're starting to build it here. So, people are seeing what is happening with the electric infrastructure. We need more batteries, so they're building factories to make more batteries. As to whether people buy the electric cars, they also make electric Volkswagens in Tennessee. Not here, but a little bit away. That's Volkswagen. And they're having real problems even in Germany selling their electric cars. And that's in Germany, where they really push electrification. So they will build them, but will people buy them? Only time will tell on that. I'll keep a close eye on what's happening here to see how long it lasts, how many they actually produce. Just like old Elon Musk, he was supposed to be making 250,000 Cybertrucks by next year, right? Now he finds out he can only make 24,000 batteries in his factory that supply the batteries for the Cybertruck. Well, if you got batteries for 24,000 trucks and you want to make $250,000, there's kind of a gap there. Well, I guess the Arabs have something about fancy cars and they like wasting their money. McLaren, which is that big British racing firm, they make really expensive cars, right? They're about to be taken over by Bahrain. The country of Bahrain is investing in McLaren. McLaren's always been a company that's not making any money. They make very fast, super expensive cars, right? Now the country of Bahrain's government sovereign wealth fund is buying McLaren. McLaren only made 2,500 vehicles last year, so it's just for the ultra wealthy, right? I guess the Arabs are into buying crazy companies. They got that electric car company they've thrown billions in, and that has never made any money. McLaren basically never really has made any money. It's a rich man's toy, and people buy the company because they want a snob appeal. I guess the Arabs want the snob appeal. We own McLaren now. Whoa. That small amount of cars doesn't affect the world one iota. iota. The only people that buy those cars are the ultra wealthy. The Arabs are still into trying to put up an image. Maybe they're all running around drinking French champagne and wearing designer clothes. They have nothing better to do with all their oil money now. They're buying a luxury car maker, McLaren, that's lost money throughout its history, but it looks good. We bought those English people out. Look, we're top of the line on this fancy stuff now. To me, I think it's just plain stupid myself, but I don't want a tiger on a gold chain, you know? I don't want to be seen driving around in a Ferrari with gold wheels, you know? Come on. I guess the Arabs are still into that kind of stuff, you know? Big time, too. They're putting billions into it. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.